Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you to dial C for Cricfit. This is Ahmedabad here, and we are into the final T20 of the five-match series between India and England. As India and England go into the series 2-2, so it is going to be the ultimate decider as we walk you through the preview of this game here. So the toss just took place, and England have yet again won the toss and they have elected to ball first here. Not a surprise coming in here, be it Virat Kohli or Ian Morgan, they have always looked to ball first after winning the toss here. Not a single side in the series have won the toss and have elected to bat first. So nothing as a surprise here, but as we look at the lineups here that have come into play, England are going unchanged into the 50-20, 40-20. They had a bit of here and there with their bowling and batting. David Malan not scoring runs, and the bowlers not being there in the pick of the wickets. But then as you look through, the playing 11 is the same what we saw in the 40-20 here. So you have Jason Roy, Johnny Bairstow, Josh Butler, David Malan, Ian Morgan. Just we can just go on and on with these names here. Every as I mentioned in the previous shows as well, each of the top six England batters have the ability to go for it. From ball one. They can just clear the fence from ball one here. So whether we talk about Jason Roy, whether we talk about Josh Butler, we have seen what they are capable of in the previous few matches here, with Jason Roy being one of the leading run scorers of the series here. Obviously, he has Virat Kohli in competition, but Jason Roy has looked in decent touch. He has been England's top scorer in the series, and that's how we look at this in England playing 11 here. But अगर हम इंडिया की बात करें यहाँ पे, सो देर इज़ वन चेंज दैट हैज़ कम इन टू प्ले. केएल राहुल, जिनके 4 खराब गेम गए, हार्डली गॉट एनी रन्स ऑन द बोर्ड. We saw, he copped up 2 ducks in the 4 matches so far, and in the 50-20 we are not seeing KL Rahul in here. So we have Natarajan, who had returned back to the squad just before the 4th T20I started, and which is why we have Natarajan in place of KL Rahul, which means we are going to have Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli open the innings, and that is what it looks like, because there is no Ishan Kishan. Obviously, there's a possibility that we might just see Rishabh Pant open the innings with Rohit Sharma, but since Virat Kohli has opened for India in the past and he has been a regular opener for Royal Challengers Bangalore before the 2020 season, in the 2020 season he opened in just one game. But if we talk about 2019, 2018, Virat Kohli has opened for RCB, so he's a seasoned opener if we talk about his run flow. But talking about Virat Kohli's position, in the previous T20, we saw Surya Kumar Yadav bat at 3, which meant that Virat Kohli had to walk in at 4. And even in the second T20, we saw that, Ishan Kishan, not the second, the third T20, we saw that Ishan Kishan batted at 3 and then Virat Kohli at 4. So now it's going to be a change of batting position for Virat Kohli here. Right from number 4, he is going to open the innings. That is what I feel like. He is going to open the innings today. So we have another opening pair in the series. In the series, we have seen, as many as 4 opening pairs. Okay, if we talk about the first T20, we had Ishan Kishan open the innings. Not Ishan Kishan, we had Shikhar Dhawan open the innings with KL Rahul. Second game, we had Ishan Kishan open the innings with KL Rahul. Third T20, we had Rohit Sharma into the attack, into the playing 11 with KL Rahul. Again, in the fourth T20, that was the same case. And in the 50-20, now we are all set to have a different opening combination here for Team India. So a bit of here and there for Team India at the moment. But as we look through, in England have, they lost the 4th T20. In India made a sensational comeback in the 4th T20. It has been alternate wins for both these teams here. First game was won by England, second by India, third again by England, fourth by India. And if अगर हम इस order में ही जाए, so England might just win the the 5th T20 here, because odd numbers पे उनका कब्जा हो रहा है. So that's the stat coming in here. But looking at we'll take a look we'll take a look at what happened in the previous match. As I spoke about, how India made a comeback in the previous game, we'll take a look at what really happened in the previous matches. So England won the toss. They elected to ball first. So India were put to bat. They scored 185 for 8 at the end of 20 overs. We saw Surya Kumar Yadav score 57 of 31 deliveries, get out to an absolute controversial decision where we are still not sure how the umpire gave that out when the ball was clearly grounded. So Surya Kumar very unlucky to just end up on 57 there, but had he be not given out on that delivery, we might have well seen him score a much bigger score than 57 here. So Surya Kumar Yadav, and also he got off to a mark with a 6, being one of those first cricketers from India to do so, off the mark with a 6. You don't see that very often these days, but with the likes of Chris Gale and Virendra Sehwag in the past have done it. Surya Kumar Yadav is also joining the party here. So Surya Kumar Yadav 57. We had Shreyas Iyer in a different role altogether. We saw Shreyas Iyer back down at 6, kind of a finisher's role he was occupying there, and that is what we saw there. So we had Surya at 3, Shreyas, who was our number 4 until Surya came into the side, and now we have Virat at 4, Surya at 3. Suddenly Rishabh Pant is into the side, so Rishabh Pant gets to bat at 5, and then Shreyas Iyer has to become our finisher here. So 37 of 18 deliveries, striking at over 200. He has done the job of finishing the previous game, but not sure if he is going to do on regular basis for the side here. So Shreyas Iyer 37 of 18. Then you had Rishabh Pant contribute a bit there with 30 of 23 deliveries. Talking about the England bowling, Jofra Archer 4 wickets in his 4 overs. He was absolutely sensational, like always. Dismissed Rohit Sharma under 6 overs in the power play. Then Mark Wood has again been very impressive in the series here. 1 wicket, 25 runs. And then you talk about Ben Stokes, one of the best all-rounders in the world at the moment, and he has not surprised us. I mean, that's what he usually does. Picks up wickets, score runs, and then also is a terrific fielder as well. So that's what we see here coming in with Ben Stokes, Mark Wood, and Jofra Archer being the pick of the wickets for England. And then when India were bowling in the second innings, when England were chasing the target of 186, India restricted them to 177 at the end of 8 overs, all courtesy some terrific bowling performance by India. Hardik Pandya opened the bowling for India, two wickets in his 4-over spell, giving just 16 runs away. And then you had Shardul Thakur pick up 3 wickets for 42 runs. Rahul Chahar, who replaced Yuzvendra Chahal in the 4th T20, picked up 2 wickets in his 4-over spell. And then talking about the batting, it was the Ben Stokes and Jason Roy show yet again. But as the match went into the death overs, it kind of just slipped out of England's hand here, and that's what we saw. It in the match did go down till the wire in the last over, and we saw India clinch the victory at from the hands of England in the last few overs there. So that is what happened in the previous game. We will take a look at the top performers who were the pick of the performance for India in the last game here. Starting off with Rahul Chahar, he was terrific about 2 days back. 4 T20I, replaced Yuzvendra Chahal, as I mentioned. 4 overs, 35 runs, 3 wickets at an economy of 8.8, and this is something we see him do very often. हमने IPL में भी अक्सर देखा है कि राहुल चहर आते हैं मुंबई इंडियंस के लिए, and he is one of those wicket takers for Mumbai Indians. Has played the entire season entire season in the 2020 edition, and was unfortunate enough to miss out in the final. But then Rahul Chahar, had played just 1 T20 for India. That was against West Indies. That came a couple of years back, and then made a sensational comeback here. On a comeback, he picks up 3 wickets for 4 overs, and then hardly gave any runs away. That's typical leg spinners figures, I would say. 30-35 runs के बीच तो usually leg spinners देते ही हैं, because leg spinners do get hit all over the park, but then they are known to be the wicket takers, and that is what we saw from Rahul Chahar. We'll move on to the next top performer from the fourth T20, and that is Shardul Thakur. 4 overs, 42 runs for 3 wickets, balled those penultimate death overs in the previous T20I, and we saw him defend that total in the last over, taking the team, taking India to a victory here. So Shardul Thakur again, and not to mention, Shardul Thakur also scored few runs with the bat. He scored about 10 runs in the very few deliveries he got, and those turned out to be very clinical because India ended up winning the match by just 8 runs, and Shardul Thakur ended up scoring 10 runs. So Shardul Thakur's contributions with the bat should not go unnoticed, and that is what has happened here. So Shardul Thakur, we spoke about Rahul Chahar. We'll move on to Hardik Pandya. I mean, he hasn't been bowling much. We hardly saw him ball in the IPL. In the Australian tour also, we hardly saw him ball those long spells. He bowled about 4 or 5 overs in the 3 ODIs, but nothing more than that. And now he was asked to open the bowling in the fourth T20, playing as the fifth bowling option. And this is what Hardik Pandya did here: 4 overs, 16 runs, 2 wickets. That is so, matlab, we don't see that often from Hardik Pandya, and that is what happened here. 4 overs, 16 runs, was the best bowler for India in terms of economy and wickets. Picked up 2 wickets, and then was also and hardly gave away any runs here. 16 runs opening the innings when you are not in full shape, when you are not consistently bowling, and hardly ever bowled in the last 6-7 months in matches. So phenomenal stuff from Hardik Pandya, and that is what we saw here. And then we will talk about Surya Kumar Yadav. Till now I've spoken about 3 players. 2 players play for Mumbai Indians, that being Rahul Chahar and Hardik Pandya. The other being Shardul Thakur, who doesn't play for Mumbai Indians but plays for Mumbai in the Ranji Trophy. And now we have another player who plays for both Mumbai Indians and the Mumbai side in the Ranji Trophy. So Surya Kumar Yadav, 57 runs, 31 deliveries, 6 fours, 3 sixes, and one of those sixes came off his very first delivery he faced in international cricket. I mean, how gutsy is Surya Kumar Yadav? First ball he faces, and then hooks Jofra Archer for a 6, and that is what Surya Kumar did there, and he was also the man of the match in the previous game here. So Surya Kumar Yadav has been phenomenal in the last match, and he has been given an extended run, which is why he is featuring in today's match as well here. So he is going to bat at 3. It looks like Virat Kohli will open the innings, and that is how we look at things in this 50-20I, which is going to be the ultimate decider of this series. After England lost the Test series, they have a chance for redemption. They have a chance to pull off this T20 series in the 5th T20 and then move into the ODIs, which is a 3-match series. They will be traveling to Pune from Ahmedabad. So, as I spoke about all these players, we'll take a look at the fantasy 11 you guys could pick for today's game here. And for the fantasy picks, we have gone in with Josh Butler and Rishabh Pant as your wicket keepers. No other option for wicket keepers. These two you should be picking in your side. And then going into the batsman, you have Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Ian Morgan. David Malan is not playing today. David Malan is playing today. So you could well as expect something from the man here. He is the number 1 T20 batsman in the world. So David Malan should be picked. I do see that him playing a big knock today. So Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli opening the innings. Obviously, they are going to be among these leading run scorers for today's match as well. Ian Morgan, David Malan bat at the top for England. So, and then Josh Butler opens the innings. So plenty of opportunity for you guys to score a lot of points in the fantasy game, and that's how we look at here. But talking about the all-rounders and the bowlers you could pick for today's match here, I have gone in with Ben Stokes, Washington Sundar. Washington Sundar went for a lot of runs in the previous game, but then Washington Sundar, being Washington Sundar, is known for his economic spells. He won't get you those 4 or 5 wickets, but he'll bowl those spells of 4 overs, 20 runs, 1 wicket, 4 overs, 30 runs, 2 wickets, and that is what is needed for you to get those fantasy points. So Washington Sundar and Ben Stokes, in the previous game he was phenomenal with the bat. He also ended up picking up wickets. So Ben Stokes, Washington Sundar should be all-rounders. Though you could also consider Shardul Thakur in that league there. So Shardul Thakur could also be your all-rounder. I am Yes, so Shardul Thakur also could be your all-rounder going into the fantasy 11 here. And then for bowlers we could take Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, and Shardul Thakur. As I spoke about Shardul Thakur, one change. Here's one change I made in here, and that is that. Okay, so the side is completely changed here. Apologies, the wrong playing 11 was shown before. So wicket keepers is going to be Josh Butler, Rishabh Pant, Surya Kumar Yadav, Virat Kohli, Ian Morgan, and Jason Roy should be your batsmen. Going into the all-rounders, it should be Ben Stokes, Hardik Pandya. Hardik Pandya, since he has started bowling, Ben Stokes has been striking the ball clearly in the last few matches for England. And then bowlers, you should go in with Jofra Archer, simply because he has been picking up wickets. Mark Wood has looked absolutely sensational in this entire series. And then you have Shardul Thakur, who bats a bit, who bowls, who does everything. So Shardul Thakur is that all-rounder India are playing in the series here. More than Hardik Pandya is a Shardul Thakur who's been contributing from all aspects for the side here. So that is with the fantasy 11. You could pick this team here. I'll just pull up the side yet again. So this is the fantasy 11 you guys could look to pick in today's match here. You still have 6 minutes until the match starts, so you could make these changes coming in here. Moving on, we will now take a look at how India could go about their number 4 batsman into the T20 World Cup 2021 edition. There is this big question that who should India look at as the number 4 batsman going into the T20 World Cup. Now they have Shreyas Iyer, they have Surya Kumar Yadav, and there's a big confusion between who should be that one player who could make that top 15 as a number 4 batsman for India. You could obviously pick both Surya and Shreyas, but then at number 4 you're only going to play one batsman, and India need to really sort this issue out before the World Cup, that who is going to bat at number 4 for India. Because in ODIs we see that Shreyas Iyer has confirmed his spot for the next 1 or 2 years, because the way he has played so far in the ODIs, averages over 50, but same hasn't been replicated in T20s. And with Surya Kumar's emergence and Shreyas Iyer being pushed down at number 6, it is going to be a huge task for India to figure out who they should be looking at, because Surya Kumar has been sensational in the IPL for Mumbai Indians, and Shreyas Iyer is the captain of the Delhi Capitals side, who has brought the change ever since Daredevils were converted into Capitals. Capitals qualified for both the seasons, and the captaincy also comes into play. But Shreyas Iyer as a player has also performed, instilled that confidence. We could also bring in Ricky Ponting here, but let's not go to that IPL matter here at the moment, because when we are talking about Shreyas Iyer and Surya Kumar Yadav, the choice is going to be of just one player in your final 15. And because if you look at 11 players, you'll have one backup opener, you'll have a couple of backup pacers, and maybe a backup spinner. You could pick a backup all-rounder. Shivam Dubey could also come into the party. You have Rahul Tewade. All these players are there. So it's going to be a huge task, and it's going to be a really hard task, I would say, to figure out who should be that one player between Surya Kumar Yadav and Shreyas Iyer to make it to the top 15 of the T20 World Cup squad here. So that is what we see here, and I think we should wrap up today's show here. So that is what I see here, and all my thoughts I have put across all of you here. Do feel free to comment below whatever you think, and surely we'll get back to you in the next show we do here. So fantasy playing 11, you all guys saw who you should be picking, and we are just 3 minutes away. You still have 3 minutes to confirm your teams there. So do make these changes, and if you do get these players right, and if these players end up performing today, you could always post in the comments below that okay, Cricfit's team eventually won us the fantasy league for that particular match. So wrapping up today's show, India are batting first. England won the toss, elected to ball first. India batting first. It's going to be Rohit and Virat as the new opening combo for India in this series. Yeah, it is Rohit and Virat as I see on television here. So Rohit Virat open, and they don't really have the best of best histories when batting together. You know, 2 or 3 times we have seen Rohit run out Virat or Virat run out Kohli, but I can tell you a couple of instances that have happened with the run out in ODIs. ODIs में ये बात हुई थी कि 2 बार रोहित ने विराट को रन आउट किया, and on both occasions Rohit went on to score a double century. So that is one good thing, that you know, even if you get the other person run out, you end up scoring, you know, दोनों के runs मिला के. So that is how Virat and Rohit are, but you know, 2 explosive batsmen I would say have come out, because in the last match Rohit Sharma just was looking to go after Adil Rashid first ball 6, and then you know he was looking really good, and Virat has looked really sensational in this series here. So Rohit Virat, the new opening combo, no Ishan Kishan, no KL Rahul, no Shikhar Dhawan. Let's see what happens here. I do feel that India batting first, they'll post a total between 160, 170-ish. You know, you could just count it 180. 160 to 180 is what I think India will score here. But let's see what happens in the match. It's the ultimate decider. India will have to put up a huge total on the board going into this in the series decider here. So you know, you need to have a decent total on board to end up defending it. Obviously, you have Natarajan in place now to ball in the death overs. So the death overs, you know, problem is slightly sorted for India in today's match here. So that is what I feel for today. And the first ball is going to be bowled. I'm not really sure who is the bowler. It is Adil Rashid yet again. So Adil Rashid versus Virat Kohli. Let's see what happens. You guys enjoy the match, and I will catch you up next time. Maybe because before the ODI series, is that what I think? Before the ODI series, we'll have a ODI series preview. So that is when we all will catch up. Till then, it is tata bye bye from my side. And before I go, do visit our website www.cricfit.com, and also follow us on all our social media platforms. Thank you and take care, and happy watching and a happy weekend to all of you.